Can we talk a little about Isaiah Thomas?
I was hoping we could talk about Joe Flacco.
Okay. Well, what do you want to know about Joe Flacco?
I don't want to know anything.
He's pretty good, I guess. Yeah.
We'll find out, right? I want to welcome him to Nuggets country, though.
Okay. Good. Is questionable the new probable in the case of Isaiah Thomas?
I don't know what questionable means anymore. I think all day long it's been questionable, game time decision. In my mind, I think Isaiah will be available to play tonight. I think the one thing that everybody's got to understand, though, with that, Chris, is just because he's available to play doesn't mean he's going to play. We have 26 games to go, and Isaiah has had a very tough 11-month journey, and so I'd love to get him out there, but team always comes first, and we have to do what's best for our team. And if that's playing Isaiah, great. But we all know that we've had a lot of guys step up with all the injuries that we've had and play at a high level. So if we're able to get him out there tonight, I'll be thrilled to see him on the court and get the ovation that I know he's going to get.
How much can he help in terms of pick and roll and stuff like that, defense, offense? If he can play, how do you choose to use it?
Yeah, I think, let's go back 2 years ago prior to the injury and the level he was playing at. Leading fourth quarter scorer in the NBA, 28 points a game, MVP candidate. Will he be that player tonight? No. But in watching him as he has progressed to coming back, his ability to play pick and roll, that's something he can do in his sleep. The reads he makes off pick and rolls, finding the open man. And just his IQ out there, his communication. So if he's on the floor, he'll be able to help us on both ends. But I think everybody needs to remember, when you don't play live basketball for 11 months, you're not going to come back in the first game and be the IT that we all want him to be. It's going to be a process for him, and we will support him through that process.
You guys have been battling injuries all year and just obviously recently came off the 3-game losing streak. Can Isaiah just be a breath of fresh air in terms of an energy infusion for you guys?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's so much excitement about the possibility of Isaiah playing, and so if he can come back, give us a jolt off the bench, which is what we originally signed him for. If you go back to the summer, and I've said this all season, I never envisioned Monta playing at the level he's played at. I did not envision Malik Beasley playing at the level he's played at. Those guys, give them credit, they have surpassed all expectations. So when we signed Isaiah, he was a guy that was going to be a sixth man, come in the game, score, give us that energy. But we found that in other guys. But when you're 56, 57 games in, guys are hitting the wall, guys are tired. So having a guy that is just excited to be out there, sure, I think it can give everybody in the building some excitement and some energy. And I think Isaiah is really looking forward to that moment.
He talked this morning about the trust that you guys have with each other going back to the Sacramento days. Does something like that help in this long rehab process that he's been in throughout this season?
Yeah, I think when I think about the situation, Harrison, and I go back to our conversations back in the summer, one of the reasons he decided to come here was we had a good team, but because of our relationship, and he wanted somebody that he knew he could trust. Not once this year did I ever pressure Isaiah to come back. I wanted him to come back when he was ready, and he needed that. He didn't need somebody pushing because he's been rushed before and it hasn't gone well for him. And I've said all season long how important he's been, and that's not just coach talk. His impact on our team has been profound, and he hasn't played a minute yet. But I think him knowing that I have his back, I believe in him, and I trust in him, has helped him get through this and take his time to getting back to where we are today, the moment where he's ready to return, and hopefully the comeback continues. So I'm excited about that for him because it has been a very difficult 11 months for him.
Jeff Van Gundy was saying the other day that good development sometimes with coaching staffs is not playing guys before they're ready, and that waiting and not necessarily throwing them out there from the very start can be the best thing for them. How much of what Malik and Monta have done this year do you think is a result of the fact that they didn't have to get thrown into, and you guys charted this path that allowed them to shine once they got out there?
Yeah, I think sometimes early success retards development. And if you give somebody something from day one, what is their motivation? How hungry am I going to be if I got here and I just gave you a job? And that's something I've learned in my 4 years here, in my own experiences. I think you have to make people work for things. And Malik, year 3, year 1, played spot minutes. Year 2 was in and out of the rotation. Well, you know what? He knew this past summer was the biggest summer of his life. And that was a message delivered to him when he left here. You know, it's a make or miss league. Consistency is the key. You better come back a better player. If not, you know, who knows what's going to happen. And he took it to heart. That wasn't a threat. That's reality. And Monte Morris, too, he was, you know, played 3 games in the NBA last year. He was in the G League down at Rio Grande. That's motivation. I want to be up with the big boys. So I think the point that Coach Van Gundy makes is valid. Guys being hungry, having to work for everything. And it's like we all do with our own kids. You know, you don't give them stuff. You make them earn it. And I think that's the best way for players to continue to develop in this league.
You've had success with Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic inverted pick and roll. You've talked about that. It seems lately Jokic has been the ball handler in pick and roll scenarios with other players more and more frequently. What's the limit as his career unfolds? What's the limit to that? Can he add that piece to his game more consistently, being the ball handler in those situations?
Yeah, I don't see why not. It doesn't have to be just he and Jamal, even though those two, their combination has been one of the better combinations in the NBA. You know, but Nikola's versatility, IQ, ball handling, and passing are what make him such a special pick and roll player. So I think it doesn't have to be limited to a small. We've seen him and Mason pick and rolls before. Mason be the recipient of a lob pass. So Nikola excels in all areas when he has the ball. Passing, shooting, playmaking, whatever it is. So we can definitely look to expand that within our offense.
One more, developing the guys like Malik and Monta, your late round guys, second round guys, is that the key for an organization to build a foundation for success? Is not only having the stars come through, but having the secondary players develop too?
Yeah, I think regardless of where you're drafted, draft night's one night in your career. Just one night in late June. It's what you do after that night and how hard are you willing to work. I give a lot of credit to our players. I also give a ton of credit to our player development staff and our assistant coaches because we spend a lot of time with our players on the court and off the court, and that's valuable. But you have to, most coaches are always saying to the front office, you got to get me more players. I need these players. And we don't do that. We look within. You know, we say, okay, let's find players on our own roster that we've invested so much time and energy with. And we've done a great job. Tim Conley's done a great job of drafting players that fit our culture, self-motivated, hard-working, that have all improved. So that's what you want to see. And every one of our players, I think, has gotten a chance to develop because they've been able to play, and more importantly, play through their mistakes. And that's truly the best teacher is that experience that they've all been given.
Thanks, Coach.